Alrighty. Well, hey everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. I know we got a little bit of competition with the speaker series going on with career services and Disney Senior VP. So if you weren't aware of that and that actually sounds more interesting, by all means, feel free to hop off and jump over there. Not gonna take it personally, because we will be uploading all these notes to the PowerPoint folder on the SharePoint site so that people can see it after the meeting. So without further ado, we'll get started. So welcome to MSU SEM Spring 2021. This is going to be the introductory meeting. We'll be running through some stuff today. Just some top line meeting objectives here. Starting off with the intro to SEM, some leadership team introductions, a lot of expectations, diving a little bit to project management outline, just some general definitions for those of you who are new, just to get you familiarized, and then some project teams and timeline information, the semester schedule, go over some further supporting resources, action items from you, the members, and go over any questions. So who we are. So MSU SEM, as most of you probably already know, is a group designed around one thing, which is real meaningful experience. So we seek to empower the individual by enabling exposure to real world projects and deliverables, as well as basically combining the engineering problem solving skills and organizational planning. All these elements that we're going to be talking about throughout the semester is what makes up the definition of engineering management. And it's these competencies that allow for individuals to become overseers of operational performance in complex engineering projects. So our leadership team and organization chart for the semester. Things have changed up a little bit. I think we got most of us here for this meeting, except for maybe Sydney. I'm not sure if I saw her hop in before we started. Hi, I'm Forrest, President, Electrical Engineering. And then I'll let everybody else make their introductions next with Michaela, who is our VP, Applied Engineering Science and minor in Data Science. Michaela, if you want to just say hello.
Hey, I'm Michaela. Yeah, as Forrest said, AES Data Science. Also, shout out to Women in STEM. You guys should definitely join that too, girls in the room. We have our first meeting tomorrow. I was just on an e-board meeting for that, so I feel the need to promote shamelessly.
All right, and let's see, we got, so next, Directors of Operations. So for this semester, we have Julia Walter, Mechanical Engineering in Hayford. I'm probably going to butcher this, but Akamea, who Computer Science. If you guys wanted to just give a quick shout out and say hello.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm half of the operations role this semester.
And hi, I'm also Hayford. Forrest, that was a pretty good try. Yeah.
All right.
Yep. And I'm also the other half of Director of Operations. Nice to meet everybody.
Awesome. Yeah. So we have next membership and outreach, Aiden Detweiler, Mechanical Engineering.
Hey, yeah, I'm Aiden, Mechanical Engineering, Aerospace concentration. If you get an email this semester, most likely it'll be from me. So yeah, you'll be hearing from me.
Awesome. Thanks, Aiden. And Sydney Rare, if she's here, Treasurer, Mechanical Engineering. All right, as I said, I didn't think I saw her. And then finally, but certainly not least, our Webmaster Brand Manager, Vanessa Wang, who's Mechanical Engineering, minoring in Graphic Design.
Hey guys, I'm Vanessa. It's actually pronounced Wong, but it doesn't.
Oh, sorry.
Wang. And no, it's fine. It's spelled Wang, but it's different languages. But yeah, I am your webmaster and brand manager. Currently, I'm actually doing a co-op, so I'm not taking any courses right now. But yeah, I don't know. I handle the website and stuff. That's about it.
Thanks, Vanessa. Yeah, and so I just wanted to make a special note too before we move on from the leadership team and org chart. So for this semester, we're going to be for the first time looking to form committees. So committees will basically be teams of students from the student organization that'll be working directly with the officers on the board to basically be a part of the leadership and development of the group. And if that's something that folks are interested in, please make sure to fill out the interest survey that should have gotten an email on a few weeks ago, or maybe it was last week. There's an option on there if that's something you're interested in. I think we have like 70 people so far that have filled that out. So yeah, just make sure you get something put on there. And then if you have any questions about any of this stuff, please feel free to ask questions at the end of the presentation or reach out to Aiden. And yeah. All right, so moving on to expectations. So what can you expect from us as members? So yeah, first and foremost, and for those of you that were a part of the group last semester, you'll know that we had some pretty cool speakers. We had a lot of prolific, big name companies come in, a lot of senior level employees, executives come in and do some speaking for us, which was awesome. And so what that's been able to allow us to do is accomplish that first bullet point, which is delivering as much as we can in the terms of access to resources, networking, and professional experience. So, you know, the real focus point of this group is to be an environment that allows for people to not only be involved in something they can put on the resume, but also get something back to you in return that's more than just maybe a few bullet points about you know, some things you maybe brushed on in conversation. So, you know, that real impact on professional growth is something that we're still really focused on. And we'll talk more about those meetings that you can expect from us to come further in the semester in just a moment. Yeah, and then for those of you that are new, expect to come into this semester feeling a little bit challenged with a lot of unknowns. Like I said, this introduction meeting is just kind of some overview of some terms, some information. We'll get further into things as we go along. And for those of you that do ask to, or I should say apply to be considered for project teams this semester, that'll be another thing that you can look forward to being involved in, and another thing you can expect from us to learn in return. So yeah, and of course, just come to meetings in terms of expectations, coming to the meetings and asking questions and taking notes and learning from these speakers and all of their experience that they have to offer in these conversations. Definitely, I think is, at least based on from our exit survey from last semester, was something that people found really valuable, and being able to basically draw on some new perspectives and to learn a lot about facets of engineering that you otherwise don't get a lot of exposure to while you're still in school. So it'll give kind of a greater scope of exposure to different engineering competencies, which will help hopefully people ask the right questions and maybe you know, find some good value from that return as well. Yeah, and so in terms of expectations from us, I think I saw this at a total of 8. I don't know if we're going to have 8 meetings this semester. I think we might only have 6 or 7. I think six proper SEM meetings, and then one's going to be a sponsored event. Anyway, so we just try and shoot for like 2/3, 3/4, somewhere in there in terms of attendance, just enough to get people, you know, materially familiar with kind of how things progress as we go on, because like I said before, we'll be going over a lot of stuff that actually does have application in the real world, and those training meetings, those meetings with the information, they kind of build on each other. So, you know, trying to come to as many of those as you possibly can throughout the course of the semesters, just going to make things easier to follow. It's kind of like going to lecture in class. I hate to make that comparison, but it's kind of true. You know, the more you can stay in sequence, the more you can stay engaged, the easier it's going to be to kind of understand the sequence of things as everything kind of goes along. So, but yeah, with that all being said, this is only our second semester. So with our most important value to be brought, being to that of you, the stakeholders, we really want to make sure that we can gather as much input and feedback from you as we possibly can. So we'll be asking questions and sending out more kind of engagement surveys, feedback surveys throughout the course of the semester, as well as getting people pulled into those committees. One of the big things of feedback that we heard from the exit surveys of last semester from folks in the RSO was that we just need to find more ways to keep to get people engaged. And so obviously this is a common theme with how everything is at the moment, at least for this semester, hopefully not next fall, but with things being over Zoom, it's definitely proven to be something of a challenge, but we're you know, thinking creatively and trying to come up with ways to overcome these challenges and to you know, get everybody engaged as much as we can. So yeah, we're just really excited to have everyone aboard. Yeah, so see, I'll stop for a second if anybody has any questions before we dive into the last few slides here, just some general overview things.
So you said that if we filled out the interest survey, you guys would be reaching back out to us if we were picked for a team or something like that?
Yep.
Okay, so if there's no communication, then I'm assuming you were just kind of passed by for that then.
Oh, no. So we're still putting out those teams. Yeah. So yeah, we'll sign on a communication. Yeah. Once we've gotten everything like basically settled out, and once we figured out like the team building aspect of things, and maybe Julian Hafer might be able to talk to us more about the timeline for that, because of the ones that go through and do like the team selection. But as of right now, we're still putting those groups together. So yeah, no word is not necessarily a bad thing.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so at least from Hayford and I's perspective, we're probably going to start planning on forming teams this week because we had the interest survey sent out the end of last week. So we're just kind of waiting for a couple more results. But this semester, we're also more hopeful to have more teams because we have a lot more projects. And yeah, so I'm hoping that we'll have a lot more like project involvement for this semester. I'm pretty optimistic about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Julie. And yeah, we'll dive into some more information about the projects that are coming up for their this semester. But real quick, we'll run through these slides. Actually, I think project teams is coming up in just the next one here. So yeah, just some general definitions and terms here. So for anyone that's new, especially new to the terms and definitions around project management, this slide is kind of just for you. So project management, and more specifically, the project manager is typically the heart of almost all engineering initiatives, regardless of the industry. So it doesn't matter if you're in software or manufacturing or what have you. Project manager is a definition that fits many hats, even outside of the engineering sphere. So, you know, to kind of think about this as a metaphor, if there's a team captain engineering, that individual is usually the project manager. And so just kind of pulling a quote from PMI here, and it's that economic intelligence reports show that 80% of global executives believe having project management as a core competency helped them remain competitive during the recession. So definitely something that can speak to current economic trends right now, unfortunately, but I think that's pretty powerful, pretty impactful. And we also brought this up during the introduction meeting for last semester. You know, if you kind of think about the axioms of that statement, you know, 80% of global executives believing that project management is a core competency to help them basically remain job competitive throughout a recession. It's pretty important. So yeah, kind of again, going back to providing value to our stakeholders, just really hope that some of the skills and questions that all this group experiences can have on everyone will hopefully be, you know, what it takes, or be part of what it takes to help everybody get through all these tough times. And if, you know, times aren't tough for long, then the benefit is that it's still really helpful to have anyways. So yeah, anyways, without further ado though, so diving into project teams, company engagement. So we got some more companies sign on for us this semester for projects. We have Cintas, TechSmith, Cisco, Chemtrend, and Bosch. So these numbers might change depending on how many of these companies decide to go on with us for. And like Julia was saying, you know, based on basically as these companies send us over kind of what the specifications are for the project that they're looking for us to collaborate with them on. We'll be able to break out how many teams we want for that, how many people we want for that team, and then also, you know, the timeline for the project itself. So yeah, expect to hear from us within the next few weeks, if not this week, then next week. And then obviously, yeah, any questions, feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah,
And
I know
then-
that specifically Chemtrend, I had a meeting with last week. Sorry to interrupt you, Forrest.
No, that's all right, go ahead.
But they said they had they said they had 4 projects lined up. So
Oh.
we're definitely could have multiple projects per company possibly.
Okay, well, we'll change that to 4. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
that
That's
name
the
list is
information
also that name list is also definitely not complete yet. We still have communications going on with other companies. So if you don't see a name you really want there, don't like lose faith or anything. We're still communicating with other companies to get things finalized.
Yeah, and huge shout out to Michaela. She's been doing absolutely fantastic this semester. The outreach has been great, and obviously we've been able to pull in a lot more companies and a lot more projects this semester than last semester. So that's all boding well as good news for our members. So hopefully that makes everyone else as excited as it does us. So yeah, just hats off to Mikhail. Great work. Yeah, so semester breakdown. So this is kind of the structural organization for how things will be kind of rolling throughout this semester. So expect bi-weekly meetings where we'll be having guest speakers and engaging with the rest of the RSO. And so as it pops up, perhaps highlighting prominent experiences amongst the members, maybe some project teams will be able to come in and talk to us about the work that they've been doing, as well as networking as a group with the industry partners that we bring in. So, just kind of like last semester, we had, vice presidents of, or maybe I think it was president for GE was our first meeting speaker. And then we had a whole slew of other people come in after that from a bunch of different industries. We've been trying to keep it as diverse as we can, just so, everyone, regardless of their background, their major, can have somebody that they can listen to and hopefully learn something from, as well as directly network with. So yeah, so so far what we have for corporate sponsors this spring semester, we have Raytheon, Tesla. The Tesla one will be coming a little bit later in the semester in April. That'll actually be a collaborative event. We're doing that one with I think it's SWE and SAES. Those are the two. But yeah, that one's actually already set in stone. So you'll be getting emails about that later on the semester. So definitely be there. That one, that'll be a big one. MCOR, Cintas, and more. Like Mikhail was saying though, like as we get more responses back from companies, they've been kind of going into two buckets. One being either speaker events, the other being projects. And we have kind of a backlog of companies too that are willing to speak with us. We just are trying to make them fit with the curriculum to make sure that we have, people that had some sort of experience that can talk about those specific competencies with everyone. So let's see. So for resources, yeah. So if you do get selected for projects, or if you are interested in projects and you end up landing on a project team, basically the same structure from last semester will apply to this semester. We're going to be working to make sure that people that were involved in projects last semester will most likely be able to be involved with projects again for this semester, just so that we can kind of keep this continuous improvement, this continuous learning process going. So, the members from last semester can kind of help teach the members from this semester, and so on and so forth. In terms of project management resources, so all the people that are new that have added themselves to that engagement survey, you've been compiled in with the list of members from last year. We'll be adding you to the SharePoint site, and that'll be built out with more resources as the semester goes on. So that'll include these meeting slide decks, as well as the meeting slide decks from the companies that basically allowed for us to put their content material on our website. And then if anyone's interested in kind of where we're getting a lot of this material from, if you dive into Project Management Institute, PMBOK, it's kind of like their guide of standards and specifications. That's a really great resource. So something to look into early on the semester if you want to kind of be ahead of the curriculum. If this group had a textbook, I guess that would be kind of what we use. And then of course, this was actually something that Matthew Rigtor, our previous operations director, started, but he had weekly office hours. So for teams that are going to be on projects, you could stop in and talk with him during his office hours for advice. I'm assuming that's something that Julie and Hayford would be interested in continuing, but we'll probably have more updates for that as time goes on in terms of when that actually will be and at what frequency. So not putting you guys on the spot there, I just forgot that was in the slide deck. Yeah, and then in terms of leadership team, yeah, so if you work on a project, kind of the first person to escalate problems to is your project lead. We really try and stress the independent factor of these project teams and making sure that people are developing the group think and the creative resources amongst themselves first before they kind of escalate to external resources for that. But of course, if anybody's ever trying to reach out to us, once you're added to that SharePoint site, if you're not already added to it already, all of our contact information is available right on the SharePoint site. My phone number, Mikhail's phone number, our LinkedIn profiles, our emails. So if anybody wants to reach out and has any questions, looking for career advice, anything, just want to talk student to student, by all means, feel free to reach out. I've had a couple people send me emails already letting me know that they won't be able to make it to meetings on Mondays just based on class conflict. So that's okay as well, because it does make sure that you stay on that mailing list, and as well as kind of getting the details about where you can more information in terms of what you missed from the meetings and where to get to that, which again is on that SharePoint site. So yeah, in terms of next steps, yeah, I think we've basically already got everybody that engagement survey sent out. I didn't want to send out the wrong link with the QR code. So if everybody can just check their emails to make sure that they filled out the engagement survey. I don't have a QR code for everyone this time around. But the GroupMe, that QR code that's up on the screen right now, does work for the GroupMe. So if you want to be added to the group chat, which was definitely not as lively last semester as maybe we had hoped. If anybody wants to be added to that, by all means, the QR code's right there. Just give it a scan. Yeah, and if you're interested in connecting, or if you're one of the individuals that signed up to be considered for those committee roles, feel free to send either myself or the leadership team a quick hello via email or GroupMe or whatever works. Just a short statement about who you are so we can kind of get to know everyone. I know it's kind of weird having to bridge that gap between all of us being in the same room together and doing, conversations there as opposed to doing it all remotely. So whatever we can all do to kind of help each other close that gap, it's definitely appreciated. Yeah, and then check out the SharePoint site once you've been added, and if you've already been added, that'll be updated throughout the semester. That'll have just basically all the content and resources that the group uses throughout these meetings and throughout the semester. And then also follow us on social media. Vanessa's been doing some great work on just kind of overhauling the look of everything, including our website, which I don't think I actually have the URL for that. I'll put that on there. It's MSU.SEM.org in case anybody wants to go check that out. If anybody ever asks who we are, what do we do, that's the link to show them. Again, great work from Vanessa. She's been hard at work basically throughout all break to do some great branding and some great work on that. So shout out to her for that. And then yeah, I'll stop for some questions if anybody has anything. And yeah, feel free to ask away.
So what are we looking at these like projects? Is it just like a semester long project, or there's any past projects you can get on to give an example like what the members would do?
Yeah. So have you had any, or I guess maybe the better question would be like, are you familiar kind of with how internships work for engineering students? So yeah, it's kind of the same principle as that, except it's not just for one person, because the workload for that would be kind of unrealistic to have one person be working on an intern, full-time interns, load of work could be like 40 hours a week, right? So what we did is we broke that up across 4 to 5 people depending on the project. So everybody only has to put in a couple hours per week, and then you work on it throughout the course of the semester. So you'll be partnering directly with someone who's got some experience already working with the SEM group as a project lead, and then you'll be interfacing directly with the operations directors internally as well as externally with the sponsors from the sponsoring company, essentially. So imagine Capstone, it's kind of like that.
It's a capstone project, but just
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there any like examples like what you actually have built? Like for example, Tesla didn't need to design like a specific like bracket or whatnot, or like any examples, or you haven't like done anything so far? I mean, I know last semester was your like first semester. Where you're just more or less just getting stuff together.
Yeah, so we had 3 projects last semester. A lot of companies fell through because they were really concerned about COVID. But the 3 that we did have, we had 2 with TechSmith, which is a software company that's based out of East Lansing. So we had 2 teams working with them, doing some software projects. I'm actually not super aware of what it is they actually did in terms of deliverables, but they were involved in weekly meetings, or maybe it's bi-weekly meetings. And they were directly involved in kind of the creation and ideation process with that company. So they did a lot of work with Agile, like real experience with that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. And then the other team was kind of a mechanical chemical split focus. So I think we had 5 people on that team that worked with ChemTrend. And I think that was an injection molding process. They did some sort of work with that. I think it was a design.
Yeah.
More of a design.
Yeah. So like for that one, I think they made it like, it was like an actual project that the company is like working on, and they needed like input from members. So it was like a real hands-on experience. They designed like I think they were working on like a design, which right now Chemtrend like plans to continue with like that model that they came up with, and you also have like different project that I mean right now it's still part of like the company's like project that they want to like take action on that. So it all depends like how students are willing to participate in those projects. So from there they can like know what kind of like project to assign like certain majors if you are. It's mostly like chemical engineering majors, and you also have like mechanical engineering for like at least that's for Chemtrend. But with other companies, they might also like be willing to get like any other majors. So that is pretty cool thing that those that were involved in Chemtrend did. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question. And then, yeah, in terms of engagement from companies this semester, Michaela might have more information on that, but basically we've been trying to keep it as diverse as possible, so that way it's not like just all mechanical engineering focused projects or not just all chemical. So we got a pretty diverse list in terms of what companies will be involved with this semester. Cintas, TechSmith, Cisco, Chemtrend, Bosch. I think they're all looking for different things. But yeah, the secret sauce is in how those teams are put together and what the company is kind of looking for. So they kind of help dictate the spec, if it will, or if it were, in terms of what engineers are looking for that. So they kind of help us pick basically what resources they want, and then we go from there. So yeah, if that's something you signed up for, yeah, like I said, expect to be hearing something pretty soon here, because it looks like we got a fairly decent number for this semester. So I'm sure more to come.
Yeah, just to run off that a little bit for us, it's hard to give you an exact answer on that, and I'm sorry for that. It kind of depends major and company. But to give a bit of a broad overview, like those companies that are listed, like TechSmith is obviously software. Bosch, you could expect electrical engineers, mechanical, some AES, but we've also had communications with multiple branches of GE. And so I'm hoping to lock in not only their aviation branch, but also their healthcare branch, things like that. I would kind of predict it based off of the type of company. So if we're looking at a TechSmith type micro internship, a TechSmith project, expect to do some more coding, some more software development, a little bit more tech heavy. But if you're working with Cisco, for example, which is more food related and logistics, that might be steered more towards AES students, biosystems, chemical, packaging, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Mikhail. All righty. Any more questions?
If I'm kind of interested in different roles and kind of know that there are some limitations to each of them, any problem with filling out multiple interest surveys or anything like that? You guys good with that?
No, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, if you're open to doing more than just one thing, by all means, because yeah, your name will get recorded just more than once, and then your individual results will be saved as well. So
if you're looking for committee
Thank you.
involvement as well, if there's like a specific committee that you're geared towards, don't hesitate to reach out to that person as well. I think if somebody reaches out to us, we're much more inclined to like consider them for a committee position because you took the initiative as well.
Okay, great. Thank you for the advice.
all righty. Any more questions? Hang on, I see one. Oh, okay.
I have one. Just to be clear, right? You said like 4 to 5 hours per week, right? If we got part of a project, if we were part of a project.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All righty. Any last minute questions? Anybody else have anything else to add? well, everyone, appreciate your time. I know it's a little bit late here, but yeah, look forward to another productive semester, and looking forward to our company sponsors for our meetings in the General Assemblies. We got some really good ones for you this semester, so stay tuned. And yeah, if you haven't filled out that engagement survey or joined the group meet, make sure you get on doing that, because yeah, project selection will be going on this week, and then committee selection will be basically around the same time as well. So look forward to hear from people, and yeah, have a good rest of your nights.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thanks, Ben. You too.